Okay, let's take a look at the full load testing for the throttle actuator. First we set to 1%. Okay, that's a good sign. Now throttle actuator, full load stop. Definitely not there yet, but it has stopped moving and it thinks that it's done. Nowhere close for there. And if we touch this and push it, it goes a little further, but still the measurement's supposed to be between the plate here and the wall on this side, on the valve cover side, per the drawing or the picture in TIS. And like I said, we're not even close. I'm not even sure threading that in all the way would make it, but it doesn't really matter because the butterflies aren't open all the way. So let's try it again. See if we get a different result. It looks better, but that's definitely not what we're looking for. It's supposed to be about 24 point something. All right, so now let's go in here. And let's quote unquote manually activate. %. Okay. 9900 according to that. And that does look a little further. Still not right, 27. I don't know how I possibly got the right numbers at one point. $27. But now that looks close enough that it could be adjusted. These don't want to move, which is good. I mean, that does look at least pretty close. Closer. And that looks pretty close as well. Okay, back to 0. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I guess we'll go back one more time to the full load test. Back under service functions. Set throttle to 1% first. Seems like the first time or two that I did this, the throttle slowly ratcheted further and further open. No, they don't seem to be doing that. I mean, clearly not wide open. Full load stop reached my ass. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's try doing it without going to 1% first, like they say. Just to see. See if we can wreck things. Nothing. Reached. It's not been reached. Let us go a little further. But still, something weird's going on. Interesting. Alright, now we're under function tests. And there is a test for the electric throttle, which I had run previously before I had started, well, for my initial diagnostics. Following story, yeah, the self-test is there because I unplugged it in order to trigger a code so I could get into service functions. Well, it says it's currently present, which is interesting. It was not currently present last time I checked this. Still currently present. Interesting. That is interesting. But it's probably, I don't think it's letting us do anything about it. And there's nothing down here. Yeah, engine speed 0. So it would just make me think that it's still from when I recently unplugged it. Okay, doesn't let us do anything else there. But let's see. I think we can still run the test. All right, throttle adaptation, time, and deviations. This is no relevant fault, but it does look like it's still gonna let us run it. Well, let's go. Okay, nothing. Oh, here we go. Set to 90. That looks like 90. Interesting. Okay. Five, 95. Okay. No, it's not highlighted because it's clearly working. So that's it. That's kind of lame. So, interesting find. I ran the full load test, and this time, as it was starting to proceed, I held a little pressure on one of the throttles, and this time it did tick over with each time sequence of it going to the full open. And now we're pretty darn close to that actually touching the full stop. And the measurement here is actually pretty darn close to what it's supposed to be. So this is interesting. Why is it not doing that on its own? I'm gonna take a closer look at all the linkages, I guess. And maybe, I feel like mechanically it should be fine. All the springs look normal. I'll check for binding, but with this minor pressure, I would think that you could overcome that with the electric motor on the throttle actuator. So maybe there's a power issue or a ground issue, and it's not getting full power ground. And so that's why it's not reaching the position correctly. But it's, the computer's not catching that for whatever reason. So yeah, interesting.